Vampire the Masquerade, a cult classic, and now Bloodlines 2 is happening. Oh yes, will this be the saving grace that everyone wants, or
This Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 video, we're going to be talking about the upcoming RPG developed by the Chinese Room that seeks to redefine the world of darkness for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. The game centers around an elder vampire who awakens after centuries of slumber in Seattle, where the vampiric landscape has changed significantly. The narrative is described as a neo-noir thriller emphasizing player choice and allowing decisions made about your character, including gender, appearance, and clan, to impact gameplay and story outcomes. The game builds on the legacy.
this is already pretty interesting because you're an elder vampire that awakens after millennia or how long of torpor or whatever it's called. That's already a pretty distinctive change for what you expect typically from a vampire game, because typically you're someone who gets brought in as an outsider and you kind of start at nothing. So that is already a significant change. Could work, could be good.
Legacy of the original Bloodlines by combining rich narrative and role-playing elements with action-oriented mechanics based on the player's chosen clan. Each clan offers unique abilities and gameplay styles that influence how your player character interacts with the world and its inhabitants. After 100 years of being in torpor, a state of vampiric hibernation, you find yourself in a world that's changed a lot, and not just because of the time that's passed. You have a mysterious mark on your hand that's somehow linked to a new reality, and there's also a thin-blooded vampire named Fabian hanging out in your head, offering insights and commentary. This setup is meant to introduce new players to the game's world while also giving you a reason to learn about the modern era, even if it gets a bit annoying with Fabian chiming in all the time. As you navigate your new life, your choices matter. The game focuses on how you interact with the people of Seattle, whether you treat them as mere food or try to maintain some semblance of humanity. There are
That is good. That is good. Okay, because already having the choice between are you gonna kill anyone and make them into lasagna, or are you gonna try to skirt humanity is kind of an interesting choice. Admittedly, again, the fact that you're kind of like an ancient vampire, though, makes that choice a little bit redundant in some ways, but it's interesting and it's good because this is what you kind of want from a Vampire the Masquerade game, because they are about roleplay, they are about choices and whatnot, and storytelling.
different clans to choose from, each with their own strengths and weaknesses, and these decisions will impact the gameplay and story's outcome. The narrative is designed to reflect how the players treat the world around them, leading to
Good.
multiple endings based on your actions and interactions. So it's all about balancing the dark side of being a vampire with the desire to connect with the world you're living in. In Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, customization plays a significant role in shaping the player's experience and interaction with the game world. Players can fully customize their main character, allowing them to choose their gender, appearance, and vampire clan. This
Wait, so he's playing a video that he didn't mute while saying what he's currently saying, so you can so at least I can hear the original audio, which is off-putting a little bit, not gonna lie. Hilarious, hilarious for Extra Life. 10 out of 10. Hilarious. Oh, but yeah, okay. It Currently we have not heard anything about the opportunity to be like, for example, a Nosferatu or something, aka the ugly-looking motherfuckers. That would be pretty nice. But, I mean, it's a modern day game, so I guess that's a little bit too much to code and do. And as much as I can understand from Bloodlines 2, well, it has been kind of development hell to a certain degree. So it's going to be interesting to see how the final product shapes out.
flexibility ensures that each player is unique, reflecting individual preferences and playstyles. The selection of a clan is particularly impactful, as it not only influences your abilities and combat styles, but also determines how players engage with the game's narrative and the various factions within the vampiric society. Additionally, customization extends beyond physical appearance to include a variety of gameplay elements. The choices players make regarding dialogue, outfits, and interactions affect how NPCs respond and can lead to different story outcomes.
A woman that's called the Slayer. Kind of a little bit red flag for modern deisms, but okay.
Remember when games used to have that? This layered approach to customization means that players are not just altering the character's looks, but also actively shaping their journey throughout the game world. The developers emphasize that choices made throughout the game will resonate with the environment and other characters, enhancing the sense of agency and immersion in the vampire experience. In Bloodlines 2, each vampire clan offers a unique playstyle blending combat strengths, powers, and distinct role-playing dynamics that influence a player's approach to missions and interactions. The Bruja clan, known for its brutal melee-based combat, is characterized by raw physical strength and a rebellious spirit. As a clan of outcasts and punks, Bruja vampires rely heavily on their fists and physical abilities to deal damage up close.
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Bruja. Not an expert in this stuff, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced.
Often using their immense power to dominate in combat. This makes them ideal for players who
Yeah, that looks pretty good, except the fact that he kind of went through a pallet, but that's fine.
prefer to dive into confrontations head-on, using sheer force to make their point. The Tremere clan, on the other hand, brings a more mystical, magic-based approach to combat, positioning them as the warlocks or blood mages of vampire society. Known for their pursuit of knowledge, Tremere vampires wield blood magic and telekinetic powers, controlling both their own blood and that of their opponents. This power allows for strategic, ranged combat, as seen in early gameplay, where the Tremere vampire can lift and hurl enemies using telekinesis. Players who choose Tremere will likely find themselves using spells and mystical attacks rather than engaging in direct physical confrontations, making them ideal for players who enjoy a more calculated, magic-centric playstyle. The Banu Hakim...
Those were some good animations. I like this. Gory, bloody, that's perfect.
Clan is defined by stealth and assassination skills, known for their strict moral code and their pursuit of justice within vampire society. Often acting as hunters of hunters, Banu Hakim vampires are driven by a sense of justice and thirst for the blood of other vampires. Their abilities make them well suited for stealthy hit-and-run tactics, allowing players to take down foes silently and efficiently. Drawing
stealth and completely arbitrary self-imposed justice? Sign me up, boys!
Inspiration from popular vampire archetypes like Blade, the Banu Hakim clan is perfect for those who want to play as a morally driven, principled hunter. Lastly, the Ventru clan represents the blue bloods of vampire society, known for their high status, wealth, and command over others. Ventru vampires specialize in mind control and high defense, often using their powers of presence to influence and dominate their enemies. This clan's disciplines allow for manipulation and control-based combat, giving players a strategic advantage in social and combat scenarios alike. The Ventru's focus on status and authority make them an excellent choice for players who enjoy political intrigue and a commanding presence within the game's vampire society. Each clan in Bloodline 2 offers a distinct experience, from Bruja's raw power to Tremere's mysticism, to the Banu Hakim's stealth, and the Ventru's control, providing a variety of ways to approach the game's dark, vampire-dominated world. Bloodlines 2 takes a first-person perspective for most gameplay, switching to third-person for specific interactions like conversations and feeding scenes. In recent gameplay footage, we follow a female Bruja main character vampire in this playthrough as she investigates the mysterious mark on her hand, leading her to infiltrate a warehouse. This mission has her navigating an illusion puzzle, facing off against a Nosferatu vampire named Willem, and using her clan-specific super strength to tackle obstacles and enemies. The blend of puzzle solving and action highlights both exploration and combat mechanics. The game's feeding mechanics involve players pressing both controller triggers to bite a target, adding a more interactive feel to the process. Combat also draws on each clan's unique strength. For the Bruja, it's a melee-heavy brawler style using a targeting system similar to Red Dead Redemption 2's Deadeye mechanic. So far, we've mainly seen the Bruja in action, but future reveals are expected to showcase combat styles for other clans like the Tremere or Banu Hakim. There is also a unique blood resonance system within the game that enhances gameplay, affecting both interactions and powers. Blood is categorized into melancholic, sanguine, and choleric resonances, each offering specific boosts when consumed. Players can draw out these states and targets by engaging in certain dialogues and actions like provoking anger to create choleric blood. Resonances
kinda interesting so far. I don't know. Seems okay. From what we see from the gameplay, definitely more fun to be played than watched, but even watching doesn't seem honestly that bad. Admittedly, we can see that there's the classic 4 choices of skill, because modern day gamers are not able to handle more than 4 choices of activatable abilities, and that's already obviously pushing it, because everyone's just frankly fucking retarded nowadays. I know. Great, that's very fun and cool and great and all, so yeah.
This can also occur naturally, allowing players to feed without manipulating their victims. This system doesn't just empower the character with clan-specific abilities, but also reinforces the masquerade, as players must be smart in feeding to avoid suspicion. Dialogue and role-playing choices offer flexibility with paraphrased options that allow players to choose an assertive, diplomatic, or manipulative approach based on their style. According to senior narrative designer Sarah Longthorne, the goal is to keep responses flexible while avoiding overly simplistic choices, which adds some depth to interactions.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. The worst thing that could happen to a game like this that's purely roleplay, okay? Because Vampirism the Masquerade is definitely something that's almost purely roleplay, okay? You can play it obviously, and there's combat and there's all of these things, but Vampirism the Masquerade has always been about role playing. I mean, it started as a role playing thing, right? Never have ever heard about anyone who actually plays the role playing thing because it seems kind of gay. But it started like that, so roleplay should be the main focus. And especially now that you're making a game like this could be big. If this comes out, let's say pretty soon, and we're hot off of that disaster of Dragon Age Railguard, Starfield, Unknown 9, and all of these story shitters that literally were complete garbage, something good roleplay wise would absolutely just shake everything, okay? It's like when Cyberpunk 2077 came out. Sure, it was a good game by default, but I think it got amplified considering how many times gamers were burnt from other releases at that time. And then something good comes out and everyone's like losing their shit because finally, there's something good.
The combination of dialogue and blood resonance systems creates a layered experience where players are encouraged to think through their responses using social skills and vampiric powers in a world filled with intrigue and danger. Every choice impacts the narrative,
Don't ruin his moment. He was gonna blow himself up.
making players feel more immersed in their vampire roles and the complex society they inhabit. Vampiric abilities extend beyond combat to include solving environmental puzzles and overcoming obstacles. In one instance, the main character uses supernatural senses to shatter an illusion by destroying hidden gramophones, emphasizing non-combat skills that fit well within the game's vampire role-playing focus. The character of Fabian, a thin-blood vampire, also appears as a guide offering commentary and insight along the journey. This approach brings together exploration and role-playing elements, giving players agency and immersion as they navigate the dark world of Bloodlines 2. The journey of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 has been anything but smooth since its announcement in 2019. Originally handed off to Hardsuit Labs, the project faced a lot of hurdles, including creative differences and delays that ultimately led to the studio's exit in early 2021. When Paradox Interactive, the game's publisher, stepped in, fans began to worry about
The definition of more problems than birth. Secret is obviously it's birth. But yes.
the new direction and whether it could really capture the essence of the beloved original Bloodlines. With such high expectations surrounding
Yeah, the expectations are absolutely huge goddamn mungus here, okay? If this does not deliver even 80%, people are gonna be out fucking rage. And the super hardcore fan base of this franchise is gonna be outraged no matter what. Let's be completely real. But that always happens. Some people are gonna be outraged no matter what. Hopefully, it doesn't turn into disaster. But hey, who knows?
the sequel, players felt a little uneasy about these changes, especially given the iconic status of the first game. As development pressed on, the project has seen numerous shifts in both direction and personnel. Early previews showcased a vibrant Seattle setting and intriguing story elements that had players excited, but reports of ongoing struggles hinted at deeper issues behind the scenes. Paradox's decision to part ways with Hardsuit Labs added to that uncertainty, marking a turning point where the team had to rebuild and refocus under new leadership. Delays pushed the release further down the line, but there's still some hope that a fresh approach might breathe new life into the game and tackle its previous challenges. Now, with a different development team at the helm, Bloodlines 2 is trying to chart a new course after everything it's been through. However, recent comments from Paradox have sparked significant backlash among fans. The company's deputy CEO has stated that Bloodlines 2 is more of a spiritual successor than a true sequel to the 2004 classic. He even dismissed the original as
Is that supposed to be outrage? I don't even honestly know what's the difference between a true sequel or a spiritual successor. I'm okay with a spiritual successor. It's almost the same as a sequel anyway, so who cares?
just a competently good game by 2004 standards, implying that many of its elements wouldn't work today. This has understandably upset fans who see the original Bloodlines as a cult classic known for its, at the time, innovative gameplay and rich narrative. Many feel the Deputy CEO's comments show a lack of respect for the source material and its dedicated fan base. Adding to the disappointment, Paradox has revealed that the new game won't follow the same open world design as its predecessor, opting for a more linear experience similar to a walk.
Yeah, that did seem like an obvious thing that's happening considering everything that we saw. But, again, linear does not necessarily mean bad. Open world sure has its advantages, but it kind of depends.
Walking simulator. This has left fans feeling frustrated as it seems Paradox is trying to distance itself from the original while still marketing Bloodlines 2 under its name. The Deputy CEO remarks suggest that the original's reputation rests mainly on nostalgia, undermining the very qualities that made it special. Fans argue that the depth of storytelling, character development, and meaningful player choice were hallmarks of the first game that don't just appear to be part of modern titles. Many believe that Paradox's comments indicate a misunderstanding of what made Bloodlines so beloved and a lack of engagement with its legacy. As excitement for Bloodlines 2 continues to fade, questions about the franchise's future and whether Paradox truly appreciates the value of the IP they manage loom large. Final thoughts.
Hmm.
After looking into
No one cares about your final thoughts, Extra Life. Get a life. Anyway, 10 out of 10. Bye.